Hey guys, welcome back to Weekenders on the Water. Today we're back here in the garage, and today we are going to be replacing the jet pump grease on this 2021 Seadoo GTI SE170. So if you want to know how to do it, then you're in the right place. Make sure you stick around, check it out, hit that subscribe button, and let's go. Alright guys, so in case you don't know, we are taking these two jet skis to Bimini, Bahamas in just a few weeks. And one of the last maintenance items that I need to do to this ski is I need to replace the jet pump fluid. So this should be done about every year, 2 years or so. This is a 2021, this is currently 2024, so obviously I've been kind of lacking on it. We're going to do it today for the first time and see how it goes. I got about 100 hours on this, so you could go by hours too, and probably right around 100 hours when you want to do it anyway, so maybe not too bad. Don't be too hard on yourself if you haven't done it yet. But yeah, we're going to walk through it and we're going to see how it goes. So we're here at the back of the ski. The jet pump lives underneath. All of this is the IBR system, and then the steering. We got to get all this off. So first thing that we need to do is do the IBR override. First thing that we want to do is enable the IBR override. So in order to do that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach the key. We're going to press the start button here to wake up the screen. So you see that comes on. Then we're going to hit the left throttle, hold that, and you'll see the IBR override message show up there. In order to enable that, we're going to again push the mode button. So you see that turns on. Now look at the trim there on the right. So we're going to use our variable trim system to pull the IBR override all the way down. So you'll notice the trim tabs on the left move down as I hold down. We're going to take it all the way to the bottom. And that's it. You can let go. Pull the key. Now the bucket is all the way down. Alright, so first thing we want to do is we want to take this bolt off here. It's a 13mm bolt. Alright, now with that out of the way, we should be able to push this IBR lever out of the way. Right, so now with that one out of the way, the whole bucket here moves freely. But next what we want to do is remove this 10mm bolt here that holds the steering nozzle together. There we go. Lots of corrosion on that one. Next up, we can push this rod back in, so that'll turn the steering handles up front, handlebars up front. Next up, we want to take out the two bolts that are, one's here and one's on the other side. So those are both 13mm. Okay, there's one out. Switch it here to the other side. Alright, so now that the bolts are out, we can push this whole thing back and then lift it up and out. Come out of there somehow. There we go. Now there are two bolts holding the bucket on, so one here, one there. Again, 13mm. So more wrenching. I'm going to leave that one just loosely on there until we get this one loose too. Okay. Alright, and that comes off. Next up, there are 4 bolts that hold the venturi cover on. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 13 millimeters. So we're gonna go ahead and take those off. Alright, so at this stage we're nearly to the grease. So the grease lives in this housing here. But before we get to that, this is a good time to stop and take a look at a few things. So you can inspect your wear ring. It's going to be hard to see on the camera here, but I can see it clearly. The wear ring is in really good shape. My impeller, sorry, is in really good shape. It's not bent, it's not dented, it's not rusted. There's no gap all along the outside. So everything on that side, I'm gonna say, is probably in pretty good shape. One thing that I noticed that does need attention is these little sacrificial anodes here. This one is not too bad. You can see it's got a little bit of pitting, but it's all right. The one back there, however, let's see if we can get a close up on that. You can see how corroded that one is. Obviously, you can tell by the amount of corrosion that I had just on those bolts that this is a saltwater ski. I ride it almost exclusively in saltwater, rarely in freshwater. So that's one of the things that I want to take care of. So basically what these do is they are, I don't know all the science behind it, but basically the corrosion is going to attack these things here before they attack any of the rest of the stuff. So that's why they're sacrificial. They're intended to wear. And when they start getting low like this one, you want to replace them before that salt water corrosion starts attacking all the rest of your bolts. So I am going to order a new set of those and get them in place, but they're pretty easy. 10 millimeter bolts, should just pop them right out, slip them back on like washers, and we're set to go. And yeah, there's only the 2 of them. So, all right, another thing that we want to check here is on the venturi, there's little O-rings here. Make sure that they're in good shape. On mine, they look really good. I don't see any cracks or any pitting. So we're gonna go ahead and reuse those. So next up, we just gotta take these Allen wrenches off. Allen wrench bolts off to get access here to the fluid. It's on there pretty good. I'm going to give it just a little tap with a rubber mallet here. Alright, there we go. And so there you can see there's the old grease. Not in too bad a shape, but it's time. Everything in here also looks good. I don't see any rust, which is the important thing. That means that we don't have any water intrusion here. So I'm going to get some paper towels and just kind of clean up as much grease as we can, and then we'll make sure that we refill with about the same amount here. All right, next up, I'm going to get like a little wire brush and try to clean up some of this corrosion, or it's probably like factory Loctite. I'm just trying to get rid of some of that here so we make sure we got clean mating surfaces when we go to put this thing back together. And we also want to make sure that we don't get any of that dust inside the jet pump. So I'm going to be real careful with that. All right, next up we got this XPS jet pump bearing grease. So we're going to go ahead and apply that all the way around here. And then we'll just put the remainder here in the cup, keep it along the bottom side here, the inside, I guess. Don't want to, I guess the point is we don't have enough to fill the whole cup. So I've cleaned up the threads here. We're going to apply just a little bit of the blue thread locker here to each one of these. Ooh, it's a little bit much. It's all right. All right, and supposedly this only goes on one way. So we'll see which way that is. I'm going to give it a couple taps here. There it goes. Alright, so my battery died while I was trying to film this, but basically I went ahead and just put these Allen wrench screws in there. I kind of work them around one at a time here, going in a circular pattern to get it snug down on there. I'm not sure what the torque spec is on this one, but I imagine you want it fairly tight and, you know, hand tight. So you don't want to ruin the seals that are in there, but also you want it to make sure that no water gets in. And I'm going to go ahead and pause here for tonight because I'm going to order the sacrificial anodes and go ahead and replace those while I'm in here. So I don't have time to wait for the anodes to be shipped. They're not going to come until next week. So instead, I think I got another plan. What I'm going to do is, since the one back there is the worst one, I'm going to go ahead and swap it out with this one, because this one is in pretty decent shape, and this is a lot easier to get to. So I'm going to take that one, put it here, take this one, put it there. So it should be a 10, yeah, it's a 10 millimeter. And we'll get these swapped out. Come on, man. Jeez. Yeah, so there's the two of them together side by side. So you can see this one is definitely, it's shot. It's time to be replaced. But this one, that'll be good for a little bit while longer. So we'll put this one in the tough to reach spot. We'll leave this one up close, and then I can just swap this one out whenever I get the parts in without having to take everything back off. Everything back here's got a little bit of Loctite on it, so I'm using blue Loctite basically for everything. I'm just going to apply a small amount of grease to these O-rings here to keep them lubricated. And then similarly with these, the bolts that hold the venturi on there, I noticed a little bit of like some corrosion towards the back. So I'm going to apply a little bit of grease there on all 4 of these, as well as Loctite on the tip of the threads. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and install the venturi. Alright, and then just a little bit of Loctite there. This stuff is so watery. Alright, now we got the torque wrench, and we're going to tighten these down to 18 foot-pounds. Alright, so next up we're going to put the bucket in, and remember these ones are the ones with the little lips on them, and where that lip is on these bolts, that is where they ride, right? So there's friction there. You can see this one's getting a little bit of wear on there. So I'm gonna put a little bit of grease, a little bit of marine grease on those as well. Then on top of that, we'll add a little bit of the blue Loctite again. And then we'll pick up our bucket and we'll slide it in there. Alright, and then again, we're going to tighten to 18 foot-pounds. So now we're going to put the steering nozzle in there, make sure that you have it pointed the right way around the black rollers here. It needs to point out, as well as the nozzle with the steering on the right. So we're going to slide that up in there. And those black rollers should catch on either side of the bucket here. And then we've got our pre-lubed bolts. We're going to put a little bit of the blue Loctite on there. So next up we'll attach the steering linkage. So I've turned the handlebars all the way to the left to give me as much room as possible. And by now you guys already know the drill. I've added a little bit of marine grease to the end here where I saw a little bit of corrosion, and then the Loctite there on the end. All right, so last bolt, we're gonna go ahead and bring the IBR bucket down, slide this in there, and bolt that one down. So again, I used blue Loctite and then some marine grease there on the end towards the bolt head. So it's 18 foot-pounds again. I can't get my torque wrench in there, so we're gonna guesstimate. That feels about like 18 foot-pounds. All right. All right, so we're all done. So I'm just gonna start with the ski, and that should bring the bucket back to neutral. There we go. All right, guys, just like that, we're all done. Really not too bad of a job. It took me probably twice as long because I had to film everything, kept moving the camera, kept moving the lights. A few of those bolts are a little tight to get in there, especially once you're trying to get in there with your torque wrench. Basically, everything's like 18 foot-pounds. And then just get yourself some blue Loctite, a little bit of marine grease, which you probably already have for like your trailer bearings or something like that anyways. Get the XBS jet pump grease. So, but overall, pretty easy. Glad that everything looks good on my ski because, like I said, that's going to be super important as we're going on that trip to Bimini. So you don't want to miss out on that content. So make sure you subscribe. So again, with this being a brand new channel, every subscriber means a ton. So we really appreciate every new subscriber. So if you can, if you don't mind, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Really goes a long way. And with that being said, we're out of here and we'll see you next weekend. Last bolt. And I just realized, oh yeah, so all the way down. So we really appreciate every subscriber. Let's try this again. We'll start all over again. So we're gonna start all over again. I'm sorry, Christine. So we'll try again. All right, now, oh crap. Yeah, it spun around on me. It's upside down. We're gonna retry this.